Jason Daniels, and I work at Mercy Medical Center here in Cedar Rapids, and I'm a volunteer tour guide here at the museum. I also help out with other sort of community events that the museum puts on throughout the corridor. And I support the museum because of really the experiences that I've had as a volunteer. I take people through the museum on a tour, and along the way or at the end of it, they will tell me that they've learned something from the experience, or the tour covers something that wasn't covered in their history books. And that's always a really gratifying feeling for me, but it means also that the museum is serving its purpose and its mission, which is to educate people about Black history in Iowa. And when we're out doing informational community events, we get people coming up to our table talking about how they're members, or they'll take their family and friends through the tour. And they'll talk about how valuable a resource it is to have right here in Cedar Rapids, and how fortunate we are that it's here. And that's what keeps me supporting the museum, is those interactions I have with people, and knowing that the museum is serving its purpose and meeting its mission to educate people about Black history in Iowa. I think especially the setup of the Endless Possibilities tour is why I think our work is so important here. The way that it starts you off in pre-colonial Africa in the 1600s, and you progress chronologically and geographically to present-day Iowa. I think a lot of U.S. history courses, or at least the ones I took in school, they kind of keep Black history separate from the sort of main events in American history, and the way that the museum sort of intertwines Black history and national themes, international themes, and local themes especially, is super important, because like the t-shirts say, Black history is Iowa's history, and it's so important to not think of those things as separate, because they're one and the same, really. Thinking back to the history books too, I mean, I remember learning about like the Civil War, and then learning about the Civil Rights Movement. Those were like the only times you ever really learned about Black folks in school, and it's like those are two important events, but there's also about 370 other years of Black history to be learned. And so I think the chronology and the way that the African American Museum of Iowa tells these stories through that chronology, and rooting things and experiences and stories in Black Iowans' lives and experiences, is super important and extremely valuable when you want to learn about Black history. When it comes to thinking about inspirational Black Iowans, it's kind of hard for me to narrow things down, because I'm a fourth generation Black Iowan, and have come across a lot of family members who inspire me over the years. And I mean, first there's our sort of family celebrity, which my great uncle Thurman Spriggs, who was a Tuskegee Airman during World War II, got his PhD in physics and went on to teach at Norfolk State, was the chair of the physics department there, was inducted into the Iowa African American Hall of Fame, the Iowa Aviation Hall of Fame. His wife served during World War II. So they're sort of larger than life. Every time I learned something new about them, they would inspire me to be better myself at whatever I was doing, work, personal life, just be a better human being, period. And similarly, my maternal grandfather, Lacey Spriggs, Thurman's younger brother, and his wife, Dolores Spriggs, are inspirational people as well. Like his older brother, Grandpa Spriggs, went to serve in World War II. Eventually, after he got out, he attended college, got his master's degree in chemistry. While he was in grad school, my granny helped take care of the family, paid the bills, things like that. And Grandpa eventually became a middle school science teacher, and eventually was one of the first Black public school principals in the state of Iowa at various stops in the Des Moines School District. And of course, also my parents, Jay and Edie Daniels, who are both small business owners. My dad owns still a dry cleaning and tailoring shop in Des Moines. He's owned the shop for about 38 years. And my mom was a managing partner at a court reporting firm for about 30 years. And knowing the already short lifespan that small business owners have, or small businesses period have, knowing that my parents were able to own successful businesses for far beyond that, and to do so as Black Iowans in a state that is a majority white state, there's a lot of extra barriers in place for them, as well as my grandpa and my great uncle and their educational pursuits, their professional pursuits. Knowing how hard that all of them worked, and how much they all valued education and that hard work, that work ethic, that's inspiring for me every day. And it's honestly the educational aspect is part of why I'm here at the museum too. It's enabled my intellectual curiosity, and also it's inspired me to tell their stories. While I'm taking people on tours. Thurman's even included on one of the traveling exhibits when you talk about Black Iowans in the military. So that's really cool for me to have like that sort of direct personal connection with the museum and my family's personal stories. So that's why I continue to support the museum.